Hello guys, this is a short video on my Mitsubishi L200 Warrior. It's a 54 plate, so it's got the 2.5 turbo diesel engine. I've had the timing belt break, and because it's an interference fit, it's broken two rockers, one inlet, one exhaust. I put a straight bar across all the valves and they seem to be as straight as they can be, so touch wood, there'll be no problems there. So just a few pointers on what I've come across with regards to what I've found when I'm doing it. So firstly, let's have a look at how the belt actually goes on. So it goes over the camshaft pulley, over the top of the injection pump pulley, down, round the bottom pulley, back up and around tensioner. So the way I got this on, my way, is to tie wrap the belt onto the onto the camshaft pulley, so it's timed up. Make sure that's as taut as it can be hand tight, and time up the injection pump. Make sure that part is taut as much as it can be, and put it on the bottom pulley. This part here wants to be where the slack is. So everything's timed up to that point, and this is slack. So what you've got is the tensioner. So these two bolts are undone and the belt goes round the tensioner, and now this is slack. So what you do then is you push that over and make sure the tension is over that way as much as you can, and there's the spring that you've got to push against. And when you've got that pushed right over there, dog this nut down to hold it there, so you've got plenty of play to faff around with your belt and do what you have to do to get all your timing marks spot on. Then undo this bolt and the tensioner will take up the slack, and hey presto, everything's timed up properly. Then dog those two bolts down. You've also got a second belt on this, and one is for the balancing shaft and one is for the oil pump. Now the timing marks are there for the oil pump, and the timing marks are there for the balancing shaft. Now they have to be absolutely spot on, and what I did was I moved this balancing shaft round and it kept returning to this point, so I know that it was bang on. Same with this one, it's the same thing. So if you get those wrong, you're in deep water, because it'll vibrate like hell when you start it up, and you'll have to go through the whole thing and take it all off again. Now I want to look at quickly the crank sensor. So we'll take the bottom pulley off. Just let that tractor go past. So what we've got is the crank sensor. It bolts straight on to the engine, there's no spacer, and I thought I was getting it wrong. So that passes through there. It's quite a delicate bit of kit. But then I realised when I put the bottom pulley back on, it pulled the bottom pulley in, and hey presto, it was spot on. So I hadn't done anything wrong at all. Oops, let's get that started. And I'm going to give you a tip on how to get this off. Now I was really struggling, my impact gun would not take that off. So what I did, took the stud off the aircon and I got a short double-ended ring spanner and I put a bolt in that pulley. Through there, and that locks the crank pulley and you can swing off this. Now remember, right to screw tight, left to have it off. Engine turns that way, so you want to turn that anti-clockwise, so don't think it goes the other way and bugger it up. The other thing I've noticed, while I've got the timing mark on the crank shaft pulley spot on, also want to double check that it wasn't 180 degrees out or anything stupid. So what I did is I got a pry bar, I just pushed down on that valve very slightly, rotated the engine. I can just feel the piston come up. As it touches it, let it go obviously, don't keep it tensioned up because that won't do you any good. And also, great bit of kit, magnet. Go through all these little oil bays and galleys in the oil and see if you can bring out any bits, because I did, and I was quite surprised. It was like shards of metal from the rocker that had broken. So all good at the moment. What I did, I also got the Gates timing belt kit, because that's what everybody recommends, Gates. Now what we'll do is I'll quickly take you to the garage. That's a little project I've got going on at the minute. I might do a little video on that rally car. So what we've got is, when the timing belt broke, it punched a hole in this, so I've repaired that. And also, tip, it took me about an hour to get these bolts out. This is the front bumper, and you've also got this jutted out bit for whatever reason, and it's quite boxed off section to get these two bolts out here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grind it down there and cut that bit off, this bit here, because that way you can just get a spanner straight in if you have to do it again. And secondly, I'm taking the front fog lights out of that thing, because I've never used fog lights in about 30 years, so, and they're a bit rusted, so I'm just going to get rid of them as well. And last but no means least, the broken rocker, and I believe they're designed to actually break, so that's a bit of a godsend. The other thing I did, that's the air conditioning radiator, which is absolutely bollocks, so I've ordered another one of those as well. So while you're waiting on your two rockers arriving, give it a damn good rub down, get rid of any rust, and put a coat of paint on it. So hope that helps. Hope I've covered most things. So don't forget all your timing marks, camshaft, fuel injection pump, well, my timing mark down there doesn't look like it's timed up, but it actually is. There's the actual timing mark there. Hope that helps everybody. Leave us any feedback if you think I've got anything wrong or you need any help. I'll try to help you out as best as I can.